It all started on Monday 23rd of March. Boris Johnson's announced the country would go in lockdown. That was old news for me. Half of my family lives in Italy and the other half in France, so I knew it was coming. I knew we would have to close down. I just didn't know when. The first day of lockdown, I went for my usual morning run, since exercise was still permitted. I felt in my body the preciousness of freedom. I also felt the fear of the stillness to come. The fear that by closing the outside world, I might shrink internally and close down too. How to keep the movement of life, even in isolation. And as I was running, and my mind was thinking, a tree stopped me. A dead tree had been used by an artist to create something touchingly beautiful out of a wound. So it struck me that the only way to survive the cut of lockdown was to use creativity to feel alive, even in stillness. I stopped and took some photos. When I went back home, I transformed them into a visual haiku on my Instagram account. It felt so good to do so, as if grasping my wishes made them a little bit more real, even for me. Is this not what we will all need in the days to come? While the world was shrinking to our own private spaces, we needed to find ways to expand, even from inside. Ways to look differently, ways to reconcile our feelings, our close surrounding, and the madness that was happening outside. From now on, there would be two parallel corona wars. One outside, against the virus, that people more qualified than me were fighting. And the other one, an internal one, where each of us would have to negotiate how to survive the madness and to keep alive our core values, to keep connected and present just when the world is pulling us apart. So during a conversation with my friend Sandra Tabares Duque, the idea emerged. Why not using the format of visual haikus, 3 photos and a text, a format that we had both enjoyed and used for a while, as a way to communicate and share during lockdown? We created a Facebook group. We called it Corona Haikus, and we invited all of our friends to join us. Within days, a community started sharing moods, moments, wishes, fears, and frustration, and all this using visual haikus as a common language. Within days, we were not alone anymore, and that was truly magic. I am not an active Facebook user. I would have loved and preferred to use another platform, but this is where everybody was, so we followed the flow and created our tribe there. This is when I realized how much the platform itself shapes a project like this. In Facebook, people can like, they can comment, they can share. So our community started speaking this new language made of hearts, smileys, and thumbs up. Not really my first choice of communication, but it worked. We later created a website to share our community wisdom outside of the closed world of social media. I discovered that we can be shy even in social media. At the beginning, we could just say, "I like your post," and then we dare to move into, "I have been touched by your post." There has been humor. There has been grief. There has been sorrow. There has been pure beauty. There have been a lot of sunsets. There have been a lot of moons. And never, I think never, have we been so attentive to our home plants. We have seen in their blossoming all the strength of nature that we normally ignore. As we were more and more closed indoor, we have been literally fed by the blossoming of our flowers. Never in my life have I paid so much attention to the subtleties and the magic of slow becoming. And then we started blossoming with our community. People found their styles, they went for it. They experimented with the form. People also started having daily habits and Corona Haiku routines. I was posting always around noon. Maria would do it in the morning. Gilbert would make a haiku out of every single one of his evening walks. Sandra was normally posting late at night. I found it so fascinating to see how this virtual community was actually very real. How our moods would create ricochet and touch others. How the very fact of knowing that we are seen makes our reflections more tangible. How 3 images and a short text could say so much more than what they contained. They had to be read through time, through the evolution that we all had. They acquired a different meaning within the context of the community, as people started responding to each other and a sense of belonging emerged by itself. Where is the feeling of belonging coming from, when I actually do not really know most of these people? Is it about creating daily routines? About feeling heard? Is it about sharing a moment in time? Or maybe, is it just about sharing an intention, about wanting to share and allowing others to see you? All I know is that by the time lockdown started to ease in most of our countries, our energy went slowly back to build our so-called normal lives. We knew we slowly had to close the project, as it was always intended to only document our lockdown days. But then, here is the question. Is the Corona Haikus just an archive that we can treat as a project and schedule its ending day? Or is it a community that has its fluctuating needs and might want to leave at different times? We decided to treat it as a community, as a group of people that we encountered at a summer camp or at a party. We decided to ask people to let us know when they wanted to leave, so that we could say goodbye, as you would with a friend that you care about. The goodbyes have been really painful for me. The party has to finish eventually, and they are always the one that stay till the very end. Life goes on, and we need our energy to build our new realities. All I wish is for the Corona Haikus to be more than a moment shared. I do not know how many semi-partial or full lockdowns are still to come. But what I know is that I have learned a lot during this one, and that I will come back to this archive of important moments to remember what it felt like to be still, and yet, at the same time, also more alive than ever before. Welcome, Corona blessings.